I can see you clearly.
Hola, ¿qué onda? You are listening to Tu Tia Bruja. This is the third episode, and I am Bex Carlos, your host. I hope you're keeping yourself balanced and in a good spot. I think that we're all kind of overextending ourselves right now, and we feel like we have to do so much, and this full moon is really, really going to be interesting. So for today's episode, I am really excited to introduce you to my friend, Brandyn Ashley. Brandyn is an apothecary, a tarot reader, used to work at Lush, and so they've brought that knowledge of products and they create their own. They created some bath salts for me that were amazing. We get into a long conversation about St. Louis and energies around Alton and East St. Louis. We talk about red brick dust. You know what? I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to just jump into the episode.
So I started it all. So if I find someone older than me with my name, I'm going to lose my shit.
I've never seen it like that. I think you're a trendsetter.
I love it.
I'm starting to learn about numerology. I feel like I start falling into one and then I'm like, ooh, but what's this?
And then when we use them, it's like every single one of them. So we got numerology, you have astrology, then you have orishas, then you have like all of these all at once. And it's like, oh my goodness. It is something to definitely just go into and keep going in it. And numerology and astrology, those are like, you know, tale as old as time type bits. Those are the real deal Holyfields. You know what I mean?
Once you realize your life number, you see it pop up everywhere.
Right.
What's yours? Mine's 5.
Mine turns out to be 8. I was like, for real? That's me? Okay, I'll take it.
I don't know about you, but the way that I started seeing it is when I was a kid, I always had to have the volume on a TV. It was either on a 0 number or a 5 number, like always. So it was always some sort of multiple of 5. So weird to think back. I was doing all this weird stuff that I didn't even realize was magic.
Because you've been synced all your life. That's the beauty of being so spiritually inclined. You don't realize how synced you were until you start doing synced ass shit. When you start syncing and getting synced in and you start opening up things and you're like, damn, I've been doing this since forever. How long? Like, and you know, you start thinking about it like, oh wait, I have been doing this. So yeah, like for me, like how you saying it's the 0s and it's the 5s. For me, it was always 3s. I don't know, like 3 is literally my magic number. As I talk, we're 3 minutes in. Like, it's always been 3s. And it's like 33, 333, 3, 0 and 3. It's always a 3 on there. Yeah, I hear you on it.
The more that I get into my practice, the 3 is also a very powerful number for me. I'm one of 3. The number keeps popping back up real quick because I wanted to go into how accurate it can be. So I kind of want to break down the chart legend of the terms associated with each numbers. You can tell me how crazy accurate yours is, and then I can tell you mine. It says 8s tend to be authoritative, entrepreneurs, realistic, planners, dominating, striving, forceful.
You already know that's me.
Farsighted and greedy. These numbers, you know, they really do represent all of us. Our sun side and our shadow side, and all a part of who you are.
Right.
For 5, dynamic, quick-witted, restless, creative, innovative, daring, persuasive, charming, and a procrastinator. That's pretty accurate.
I was going to say, with love, yes, that's you.
Well, Brandyn, the reason that I really wanted to have you on is because you use a tool in your practice that I like as well. I'm from St. Louis. I've mentioned this a few times. And something that is very powerful that we have here that people don't always think about in magical practices, because I think a lot of people think of New Orleans and energy of bricks there, but St. Louis, for a really long time, at the turn of the century, was the red brick capital of the world. And, you know, a lot of crazy shit happened here, and we were just exporting some of that energy out. And I know that you have ties to Alton. Alton's one of the most haunted places in the country.
But you know why Alton's one of the haunted places in the country, right? Check it out. So, Alton, Illinois is one of the haunted places in the country because if you think about it, that Mississippi River right there, that's how you would go over. Once you cross that river into Alton, because that's usually where people would cross. Once you cross that river into Alton, you're a free man, especially when it came to the Underground Railroad. Alton was a hot spot for the Underground Railroad. So if you go into those old houses, actually one of my old houses that I used to live in when I was in Alton, at the time it was 150 years old. Now, obviously, it's a hell of a lot older now because that was what, 97 at 150? And now, it's like 2020. So that was a long fucking time. It actually was a hot spot for the Underground Railroad. And I remember the activity in that house that's what actually started me into my journey. And my mom tried to kind of, how our moms are, they're very, very protective, especially if you were an intuitive already, like how my mother was, or is, I'm sorry. Sorry, she's still alive, y'all. She's still alive. You want to make sure you protect your kids at all costs. Mom, I saw this. No, you didn't. And you just need to go to sleep. You were dreaming or something like that. It wasn't, you don't know what you're talking about. It was things like that because she went through it as a kid. Alton and St. Louis, you guys have some strong, strong energy through there. Like,
that energy is felt in the brick. It's in the soil.
Yep.
Alton, they do ghost tours pretty regularly. And one of the places, the house at one point was a tuberculosis hospital, because aren't they always? I feel like anytime you go, it was always a tuberculosis hospital.
TB has like a lot of energy. I don't know why, but yeah, they do.
The energy in that building was, you could just tell that there were multiple layers to it, but you went into the basement. My medium, psychic, whatever abilities aren't really as powerful as yours. You tell me about the abilities that you have, and I'm like, that's so impressive. I just feel things, and that was one of the very few times that I saw something.
Mm-hmm.
Something felt like it was behind me. They turned off the lights and you were down in the tunnels, which would have been part of the Underground Railroad. You know those energy-saving light bulbs, they give off that green light even after you turn them off?
Right.
I looked down for a few minutes after seeing that, and I was just like, okay, whatever. And it was all dark. And I was like, okay, whatever. It's just faded out. Like, my eyes have gotten adjusted. And then maybe 30 seconds later, when I looked back up, it was green again. So it was like whatever was behind me had moved in front of me. After that, someone's hair was pulled, and I was like, oh shit, I don't like this.
If someone's hair is pulled, obviously they're not, can I ask? Because you know me, I'm that type.
It was a white woman.
Okay. You know me.
It makes me think that there was, some type of ancestral situation where the person's line was maybe not the greatest.
Right.
That was one experience I will not forget in Alton. I can't imagine living there.
I lived there for 2 years of my life. But, born and raised in Cali, Compton, Carson kid. Yeah. 2 years of my life, that was I learned a lot.
It becomes really difficult when you realize that sometimes your parents, your grandparents, because sometimes it isn't every generation, like it can be every other or, farther down the line. Usually someone within a family, show these abilities. I understand the need to protect, but sometimes I feel like that invalidates and it makes you feel like you're crazy, so you internalize.
And, especially with religious backgrounds like we both have, that's what comes in. What we think is, oh my God, like, I was told this was bad. I can't be around this. And it's not even bad. It's actually just a gift that you have. But, a lot of people don't understand it as that because raised to be in certain households, like certain religions, and to do away with these gifts, like they were not great.
I saw The Exorcist really young. My brain associated witchcraft and the occult with just evil, and I was like, holy shit, if I start doing this, I'm gonna get possessed. Is it worth it? Obviously, I thought it was.
I still to this day will not use a Ouija board. I won't. I just won't. I'm good. I am okay.
I had one. I don't think I would mess with one again, just because it's very easy to open up a portal and talk to something you don't want to.
Right.
Even when you take precautions. Okay, so right now, I live down the street from some of the places that inspired the movie The Exorcist, so it came full circle. Yeah. When I really started to get into witchcraft, I was literally down the street.
I remember that.
I don't know, the air in St. Louis is just wild. I'm really excited for you to come because all of my friends who are intuitives just get so overwhelmed in this city, both in a good and bad way. Red brick dust, though. For people who might not know, could you give a little bit of information about why one would use it?
Sure. So red brick dust, the reason we use red brick dust is because it's great for protection, especially in hoodoo, which is what I practice a lot of. You can put it all around your house. It's literally a freaking barrier. Now, the thing with red brick dust, why we use either that, mostly that one, because of the energy. Brick is a very old material. You can use brick from who knows how many centuries ago, New Orleans and like St. Louis. So many centuries that you can use it. But the reason we use it is for protection, for guarding your house from any evil entities or anything like that. Because what happens is anyone who wants to cause harm to you, that's what the red brick dust does. It keeps those people and wards them out of your home for anyone who wants to put harm. As far as actual entities or negative energies or spirits, they have to stop and they have to count all the little grains of dust, every single one. And it's obviously it's fucking dust. So it's going to take forever for them to count it. So they'll give up and go back and leave. So that's why red brick dust is such a tremendous thing in all religions, actually, not just hoodoo, but in voodoo and Santeria and everything.
Like you said, it carries over into so many groups. There are certain things that overlap the influence for people in the African diaspora. You see it everywhere. Yeah, it's powerful. It helps keep you protected.
And you also have to make sure, too, if you're grabbing it for who lived in the home, if you can find one and you can get the research that you need for the home, even intuitives like you and intuitives like me and, all empaths, they'll feel that brick and they'll know if it's not good or not. You don't want to just pick up any brick and be like, oh, it's red brick. You don't know if that home had any domestic issues. There was a murder in it, but, intuitives would know. They could tell you.
It's like the weirdest feeling. For me, I know it's a good red brick when I just feel like a tingle down my spine.
Yep. That's it.
Because there's something about the energy that is in that brick that is just, I need it. I need it to help me.
And the fact that you can feel like how intense it is like, okay, wait, now it's time for you to decipher where that intensity is. Is it a good intense, like, wow, this is super strong, I need this power? Or is it whoa, I have a really funny, I don't have an easy feeling about this, something's off. When you can determine that when you feel the brick and you pick that up, that's when you're like, oh shit, okay, so this is what it is. That's what that is, and it makes it easier for you to know, okay, this is good, this is bad. Not everybody, a lot of people are like, oh, it's a red brick.
Yeah.
No, it's not. You gotta check it.
Hoodoo, from what it sounds like, is something that orally taught. You have to be within a family who, practices and, have some sort of connection to it. Unfortunately, we live in this time where white witches have taken up so much of the narrative of Wicca, for example. It takes from closed practices and tries to say that it was always around, but it's definitely not true.
Right, because Wicca, actually, a lot of the stuff from Wicca that you get with the Wiccan practices come from hoodoo, come from voodoo, come from Santeria. We're the ones who showed them how to do stuff. A lot of those practices, those candles, a lot of those spells that they do, that's from us. A good amount of them. Now, of course, they put their own little, here and this, but also Wiccan is all about love and light. We're not. There is love, there is light. However, there is balance. You got to have dark in order to get light. Because just like in the Bible, because a lot of spells come from the Bible. Proverbs, Psalms, all of that, right? But just like in the Bible, there was darkness and let there be light. Light came from the dark. You got to have a balance. You got to be able to have a balance to do it. Now, I'm not saying go and hex everybody that hurts your feelings. Make sure, when you do any type of work, you have to go and consult with your spirit guides, with your ancestors, with your deities, and make sure that what the work that you're doing or you're trying to do, they approve of it and they're going to have your back on it. You can't just be out here trying to do any type of hexes either. That's something where I say I digress on, because not a lot of people want to hear that sometimes. They're like, no, I'm going to do what I want. I'm like, okay.
You're setting yourself up for pain, unfortunately, because you're going to learn the lesson. It might not be the one you want to learn, but you're going to learn it.
Exactly. There is going to be a lesson that's going to be learned, and it's up to you on how you want to do it. You could either do it the right way or you could do it however you want. That's like what happened with old girl. She wanted to put a hex on her ex-girlfriend, and she's trying to use voodoo to do it. And it's like, you don't have not one ancestor that would be part of that. And you're trying to use it on a girl who actually has the ancestors?
And also, how self-important do you think you are that you just get to talk to Papa Legba?
Hold on. First of all, she fucked up. She wasn't talking to Papa Legba. That's the thing. Tried to watch American Horror Story Coven, and she got the wrong information. So everybody listening to this, I'm telling you right now, season 3 of American Horror Story and Coven, that is not Papa Legba. That is not what he's about. He is a pure, loving old man who watches the crossroads from us, the living realm, in the deity and ancestor realm. He keeps the guides together. He makes sure whatever is needed is coming through the way it needs to come through. Who she was talking to was Baron Samething. That's like, yeah, he's the one like an eye for an eye. If I give you something, I want this back. And it's not something small. You know what I mean?
You already answered my question about what depiction of witches just really fell flat. That was something that I feel like is very common. I feel like anytime there's the mention of spirituality that isn't from Salem witches, New England witches, I feel like it's very inaccurate or it just doesn't have depth. Coven could have been such a really good season. However, I just feel like they copped out on the storyline and it just fell flat.
You know what? I don't even know. But the thing is, and with Ryan Murphy, he used what he wanted to do. Like you said, it was a great freaking season. Yeah, guys, I'm like a super American Horror Story fan. But Asylum just fell through. It was terrible. Coven brought it back. What they did is they actually put a lot of real history into it, where Mama Marie and I forgot, I know it's Jessica Lange, but I can't remember her character's name.
Fiona Good.
Fiona Good. Okay. Where Mama Marie Laveau, and Fiona Good came together and they were having a whole conversation where Mama Marie was telling Fiona, we're the ones who gave you this. You stole it from us. We tried to help you and you guys were going through this and you tried to kill us. Like, there is actually a part in history. Cannot remember it all. I promise that I will try and get more information on this. I totally am blanking right now. Maybe because my guides do not want me to talk about it, because normally I have this down. But that actually is a depiction in history that Ryan Murphy used that really did happen. So I give him kudos because he did try, at least with the history. He just fucked up with how he used different deities in the religion. That's the only thing. You dropped the ball on us, sir. You fucked up.
I think Ryan Murphy is really good at creating like a very aesthetically pleasing, really good cinematography. I think that typically Ryan Murphy shows have a really good storyline, but I feel like nobody is like, maybe we should stop introducing characters, because with Coven, at the very end, they introduced the Axeman, which again, you're touching on like history in New Orleans. There were a bunch of serial murders, which is also interesting because it wasn't just in New Orleans, since axes were super popular during that time, common murder weapon, but I digress.
I passed by the actual hotel on Bourbon Street where the Axeman stayed, and that was real. I was like, oh, for real? That was historically accurate. I was like, okay, well, he did that. That's what I'm saying. Like, he knows how to put history in certain places. Okay, I'm going to put it here. I'm going to do it there, you know?
I just recently watched the season Apocalypse.
Girl, I've watched every single one of those. So, yes, I have seen Apocalypse.
That one brought back the witches.
Right. I loved how they brought the witches in, and then they put in the warlocks. I thought that was dope. They said they were bringing them back. So the thing with him when he was doing American Horror Story, he didn't want them to link. And then people were like, oh, it links like this and like that. And then he started to link them all. So that's when it was like, well, damn. Okay, well, first you said you didn't want them to link. Now they're linking. So it's like, oh, okay, that's dope. But he brought the witches back. And the way he did it was, I know you guys love Coven so much, so we're just going to throw them in here. I felt like that's how he did it. Like, he just threw them in.
Here's a sprinkle. You can have some witches as a treat.
That's literally how I felt. And then they put Damon, whoever old dude is, Pretty Boy. I call him Pretty Boy. But, as a new person on AHS series. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with y'all? Because then they put him in 1984. It's like, no. Why?
The Antichrist, Michael Langdon.
Yes. Michael. That was his name.
Tell me about your shop. So how did your shop get started and how long have you been doing that?
Oh my God. Okay. So with my shop is S1E Apothecary. And, it was funny because I've always dibbled and dabbled in my practices. We don't say, third generation altogether, but I'm third generation of open practitioners. And it was to a point where it was like, okay, well, let's go ahead and open it up, just start using what I know. My sister was the one who actually pushed me. She was like, you're going to have an apothecary. Like, I am? How are you going to tell me this? She was like, yep, you're going to have an apothecary. That's just what it is. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's what's going to happen. I'm going to have an apothecary then. And it turns out it happened. It just started to blow up. And it started with just candles. Then it went into soap. Then it went into the oil. Then it went into everything else. And that's when I really just got bigger and bigger. And then people started loving it. And it started, people were like, oh my God, it really does work. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's not like BS. So that's how it happened. And it's been going strong ever since. And now I've been adding a little bit more, like body butters, adding ritual kits, actually going out and getting sage, like really going hiking and stuff, harvesting my own sage and my own herbs and everything like that. So that's really how it started. Yeah.
And it's so much more powerful when you take every ingredient or every piece. There's magic in every bit because you magic.
Yes, it's literally all magic. It's literally what I do. It's commanding all the herbs and making sure they all do what they're supposed to do.
I can highly recommend your bath salts. Which one was it?
Don't come for me.
I was feeling really stressed out and I took a soak in there, really focusing on my skin routine and my routine of just normal bathing, but allowing myself to really enjoy it.
Right.
And I just felt so at ease, calm, but I highly recommend that. It's amazing.
I have to bring them back. I actually took them off for a second. You're the only one who's been like, I need those. So I'm like, I'm going to bring them back. Definitely revamping everything. So as you notice, you remember when I first started, it was just like all black and stuff. And then I cleaned it up and, changed the website out. So it has a new look. So I'm definitely revamping everything. And I'm making it to where the bath salts, instead of all the herbs being inside of your bath and just floating on top of you and, you having to clean it after, I'm going to actually put it in like a pouch. So it's like almost like a tea.
Ooh, if you could find a bag that's like biodegradable, people could bury it.
Yep, that's all I do. I only do the biodegradable. That's the thing that has always been a true situation for me. That's why if you notice, everything is glass. Or, the bags are even like a silo. Those are the only things that are really hard to find that are biodegradable for the bags in there. But I also have to make them, smell proof because some people like THC in their tub or, some CBD too. So I got to make sure it's smell proof to where it doesn't permeate through.
There are all different types of practitioners. Some people are into weed magic, this bitch included.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that you offer that option.
Thank you, ma'am. I do. I try. That is an option that has always been true to my heart. I know a lot of people, we're still having debates about it, which doesn't make freaking sense because all of the scientific studies that show how THC and just cannabis all together is an amazing thing for the body. Even just the CBD, if you don't want to catch the high, it's great, especially if you use it on your body. Like I made a THC butter that was, ooh, girl. It was good.
I really just love that people are finding their power. That's really what it's all about, in my opinion, is just people really coming into their power. We're just sold this belief of how we should be. And once you really let all that shit go and really embrace yourself, which is to me what being a bruja is, it's just like embracing yourself 100% and manifesting the shit you want.
Right, exactly. And for me, because I'm like, okay, so I did a thing. I got a My Heritage DNA kit. So for me, it's been a speculation of everything that I am. I know, obviously, there's a mix there. My mom being of Creole descent and then with a little bit of Nigerian, but we know is Jamaican. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me figure out exactly where I am. Because one, my hair curls are tighter and my nose is bigger and my butt is definitely giant. In a good way, though. I'd love it. But I want to know a little bit more because I honestly think there is a lot of Latino inside, too. And I just need to know. Just want to make sure. I think this is something that I think a lot of us should do is do this DNA kit.
I want to, but I'm worried. My real nightmare is that I'm going to take it and it's going to be like 90% European. And I'm going to be like, no.
It's so funny. I told my best friend, I was like, look, because he took his test. He's like, yeah, I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, oh, okay. You more white than anything. He's Puerto Rican. He was like, yeah, I got like 65% white and, this much black and this much Taino. I'm like, okay, that's dope. You more white than anything, bruh. He was like, you should take it too. I was like, nope, because I promise you, if I'm over 40%, I'm going to cry.
See, it's like a legitimate concern for a lot of people.
I'm going to cry. I was raised that I'm blackity, black, and I'm like, that's it. I'm bright as hell though. You could never tell. I'm damn near racially ambiguous, but no, to me, I am black. I've always been black. This is me. And, to find out more things is awesome and exciting, but man, I swear if it goes over 40%, I'm going to cry. I'm going to say my whole life was a lie, even though it wasn't, but I'm going to cry.
I'm just going to avoid it for the time being. Eventually I'll do it, but I'd just rather not know right now.
Just to let you know, get it now, but don't do it. Just get the kit now because it's $39 right now. Groupon has it, and right now they're doing a sale for $39. So it's better than spending $80 for this thing. Just go ahead, get the kit, call it a day, you know what I mean? And just hold it till when you're ready.
That's a good idea.
I'm just doing it because, I'm just doing it.
Where can everyone find you? What are your links? Any projects that you're working on? Tell us all about it.
Awesome. So links, the website is wolfsmoonapp.com. That is the best way to go in, and I'm still having a hard time writing a blog. I don't know why. I used to write them a lot, but I think I just stopped a little bit. So I'll get back into doing the blogs again. But there's information there. Definitely all the candles, soaps, intention washes. Every single one of the candles have crystals in them now. So yeah, you get like 30 crystals for what you want. So there's Secure the Bag, which is a money candle. It's got a citrine in there. There's That's Bay, that has a rose quartz in there. It's a love candle. But what's cool is with every single one of them, they have the herbs to do in that particular realm. So like if it's love, it's going to work for either come to me or bringing new love in, rekindling your love that you already have, or even just self-love. You just have to make sure that you command your candle, hence set your intention. That's the best way it works. And that's with anything that I have, from the oils to the soaps to the washes to all of that. Whatever you use it for, that's what it does. But yeah, you can find me there, wolfsmoonapp.com. And I am also on Facebook as Wolfsmoon Apothecary. And on Instagram, I am at Wolfsmoon Apothecary, the whole thing.
Check out the stuff. There's a lot of cool things, and they revamp the shop all the time.
Yes, I'm working on a few things for you guys. So I'm definitely looking into body scrubs. Being that we are, Wolfsmoon is an apothecary, I want to go back into being an apothecary too. So we're looking back into skincare, going back to my Lush Cosmetics roots. I used to work at Lush, y'all, so my shit's finna work.
Luxurious.
For real. So definitely going back to my roots and that, and going into the skincare again, and going into body care, and just really going into taking care of overall body too. So yeah.
Brandyn, thank you so much for being on this episode of Tia Bruja.
Fun. I loved it. This was actually really dope.
All the ways that you can support Brandyn are in the show notes. So please be sure and check that out. Support her shop. Her information for all her events are on the website. You can find out information on how to support me by logging onto my website, www.bexbycastin.com. There's a tab, Tu Tia Bruja. Check it out. And then also, you can find me on social media at BexbyCastin, as well at Tu Tia Bruja. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. There's resources in the show notes for you to check out. I appreciate you. I value you. Have a good one.
I can see you clearly.